and welcome to another episode of Darlin Reacts. Today I'm going to be looking at Eddie Cantor, who was very famous in his days, 20s, 30s, and 40s. He is doing a song that I think was one of his big hits, Makin Whoopee. Makin Whoopee. And I have heard the song, but I have not seen the performance. I will say, I'll be up front and say that based on other performances I've seen of Eddie Cantor, I find him kind of annoying, and he has this whole shtick with his eyes, which it's got to be in here, because basically he does this whole thing with his eyes swinging back and forth. But nonetheless, I am interested in seeing this performance, and I hope that it introduces you a bit to Eddie Cantor, who was massively famous, very similar to Al Jolson in terms of some of his material and how famous he was. So let her rip.
Wait a minute, girls. You've got plenty of time. Really. Every time I hear that dear old wedding march, I feel rather glad I have a broken arch. I have heard a lot of married people talk, and I know that marriage is a long walk. To most people, weddings mean romance, but I prefer a picnic or a dance. Another bride, another groom. The countryside is all in bloom. The flowers and trees, the birds and bees are making whoopee. The choir sings, here comes the bride. Another victim is by her side. He's lost his reason, 'cause it's the season for making whoopee.
Wow, this is cynical.
Down through the countless ages, you'll find it everywhere. Somebody makes good wages, somebody wants her share. She calls him Toodles and rolls her eyes. She makes him strudels and bakes him pies. What is it all for? It's so he'll fall for making whoopee. Another year, or maybe less. What's this I hear? Well, can't you guess? She feels neglected, and he's suspected of making whoopee. She sits alone most every night. He doesn't phone or even write. He says he's busy, but she says, is he? He's making whoopee. He doesn't make much money, $5,000 per. Some judge who thinks he's funny says you pay 6 to her. He says, now judge, suppose I fail. The judge says, Bud, right into jail. You'd better keep her. You'll find it's cheaper than making whoopee.
What? Hold on.
Well, can't you guess?
Okay. So maybe I'm paying more close attention to the narrative of the song than I'm supposed to. But so basically, it's a cynical song talking about how too often guys get married because they're roped in by women who really just want to make whoopee, aka, the thing. And it's funny because I think I first got familiar with the term making whoopee from the 70s and 80s when I grew up watching Match Game, and they always used the term whoopee because they were not going to say doing the sex. on network TV. So they were always talking about Makin Whoopee, which, no one was saying at that time for real. Anyways, so it's about women entrapping men into marriage, and then at a certain point, the women start to feel neglected because the guys go and start having an affair, making more whoopee. And then the woman says she wants a divorce, and then they go to court, and the judge is like, here's all your alimony, and I don't know, you should just be paying attention to your woman so she doesn't get you in this big alimony. And you should just go on making whoopee. I don't know. Honestly, I know reaction videos are generally very positive, but I don't really feel for this song very much. And as I said, I find the thing he does with his eyes so annoying. I know it's a holdover from vaudeville, and I mean, his whole act is a holdover from vaudeville. And the fact that he's like overacting and using his hands and doing all this stuff is a holdover. And I don't know, it just doesn't sit well with me. I mean, I can't fault his voice at all or his performance. I don't know. It just bugs me. I guess I got the same thing from Al Jolson, who evolved out of a very similar background. I don't know, it's like this exaggeration. I don't know, it just really bothers me. Anyways, if you feel differently, if you could explain this to me, if you could recommend some other bit of Eddie Cantor I could look at, I have an open mind. I am willing to go check it out. So, that's it for this episode.